Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Christine Mills. Today I wanted to bring you a recipe that I've been making pretty frequently. And I've known about it for some time, and it's one of those things where you ate it before and you kind of got away from it, and all of a sudden you fall back in love with it, and then I'm just having it all the time. And they are summer rolls. Summer rolls are a Vietnamese wrap sandwich, if you would say. They are gluten-free, and I'm going to make it plant-based. So this can be your new go-to if you are a keto or just somebody that is trying to be more health conscious in your diet. And it is just made from such a wonderful abundance of beautiful fresh produce and, of course, some grains. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to have in our summer rolls today, and then I'm going to show you some preparation techniques. First thing we need today is you need to get the spring roll wrappers from your local grocery store. Now, I just bought this right up the street. I didn't have to go any special Asian market. If you go to the international section in your grocery store, you won't have any trouble finding these. They are spring roll wrappers, and they are quite crispy as they are. They're made from rice, so they're gluten-free. And I'm going to show you how we're going to prepare those. They come about 10 in a pack. Okay, we're also using today some thin rice noodles that gives a little bit of bulk to the wrap, so you're getting a little bit more grains there as well. This is Thai Kitchen brand thin rice noodles, sometimes referred to as vermicelli if you get a different brand. Inside the package, it comes with sort of these two sort of wafers. I've already cooked one today. I submerged the noodles into boiling water for exactly 4 minutes, and then I took them out and drained them and just ran a little bit of cool water over it to stop the cooking process. And then I've placed them in this bowl. I'm going to work with them right away. If you don't work with them right away, I would wholeheartedly recommend you put just a little bit of olive oil or some type of vegetable oil on it and run it together just so they don't clump up and get stuck together. And then inside as well, we're going to have all these wonderful vegetables. I'm going to have a base of Boston leaf or Bib butter lettuce. Goes by a few different names. Very nice tender leaf lettuce. You can really use any lettuce that you prefer. I like this one because I feel like it wraps really well. And because the wraps, the spring roll wraps themselves can be very tender and tear a little bit more easily. These guys are very pliable and it just works really well. I'm also going to use a little fresh basil to give a little different flavor to this wrap, as well as some grated radish and carrot. I've used the coarsest edge of the box grater to grate my carrot and my radish. I have those set up. I'm also going to be using English hothouse cucumber, and I'm going to show you in just a moment how I cut them into these little batonette shapes. And I'm lastly going to use fresh avocado in it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead now and show you how to cut that cucumber. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm going to use cucumber in the summer rolls, and I like to do what we call like a batonette style cut. And this is just going to make it easier in terms of wrapping the spring roll wrap, and also really for the person who's eating the wrap, so that you're not going to yank out a big chunk of a disc of cucumber. These are just going to work more easily. So I'm going to show you. Basically, I took an English hothouse cucumber and then cut it into sections that are about 2 inches long, and then I cut downward into a few slices. I'm going to lay them each half on their side, and I'm simply going to cut down. All right. It's as simple as that. Now, if you get any pieces, a lot of times towards the center of it, you get a lot of the seeded part. If you decide, there's certainly nothing wrong with that, but if you decide you would prefer not to have that in your summer roll, you can always put that aside. I'm just going to load those into my little dish here, my little ramekin, so I'm going to have all of my ingredients ready when I get ready to prepare my summer roll. The next thing I want to show you is avocado. Now, everybody seems to have a complicated relationship with avocados. Those of us that like it, I absolutely adore avocados. I find that it's always that kind of funny joke about how you have the avocado and it's hard, it's not ready, and all of a sudden it's overripe. So what I did was, and this is just kind of has been how I have done it, I purchased this avocado about 5 days ago, and I let it sit out probably for about 3 days on my counter. And then I put it into the refrigerator so that I hoped it would slow down the process of ripening just a little bit so it would be ready when I wanted it. So I'm just going to go ahead and show it. It has some give to it. You'll notice that in terms of avocados, they darken up when they're getting riper, and also the little stem piece will just sort of naturally fall out gently without any extra effort. So here's how I do it. I hold the avocado, and I always say that I use my knife, we call that the pinch, where we hold the chef knife between your thumb and your pointer finger, and I go down halfway. Remember that the avocado has a large hard seed in the middle of it. So what we need to do is essentially remove that. So I'm going to go around, and you'll notice I haven't peeled the outside of the avocado. I'm going to leave the skin because it makes it, for me, a little bit easier to manage it. And then I'm going to get the seed out. So I can already feel my knife has touched to the seed. So I'm going to go around it counterclockwise until I've made a full rotation and it's come apart. Okay, so at this point I really just need to remove that seed. And this little point at the end of my knife is going to be ideal for that. I'm just going to push it in and turn, and the little seed will just pop right out. Okay. You can plant these. I live in cool West Virginia, so I don't think I'll have a whole lot of luck growing my own avocados, but they do grow into a plant. And at this point, I'm just going to peel back on the skin itself. This is pretty easily done, and you will get a little bit of mush here and there. Don't worry. Remember, it's ripe, and we want it when it's ripe. So don't expect it to be a perfect, beautiful avocado when it comes out of its skin. All right. You'll have to excuse my squishy fingers. I'm going to take the avocado, and I'm going to slice across, and I'm going to slice down. It's that simple. You don't need a very large piece, but we're going to put 1 or 2 pieces of this size into each of the summer rolls. So into my ramekin they go. Into my other piece. And into my ramekin. All right, I'm just going to take a moment to clean up, and then I'm going to show you how to assemble the summer rolls. I have all of my mise en place ready to go to make these delicious summer rolls. I'm going to start by taking out one of the thin spring roll wrappers. Remember that these are gluten-free 100%, and they're non-GMO, so they're a really good and healthy product to work with. I'm going to put one in the water. They don't have to sit in the water for very long. In fact, I would highly recommend that you don't leave it very long at all. You want to leave it just long enough that it becomes pliable. That is, flexible enough to wrap it. So while it sits in here for just a moment, I want to tell you about presentation and serving. I have a little platter here, and I'm going to put a few out. I'm going to just serve mine with a sweet chili sauce, and you can get that in the international section of any grocery store, and they have any number of brands, so you can just pick what you like. You might say to yourself, well, how long are these going to last? This isn't something that I have to make it right now and eat it immediately because it's rice noodles and it's going to just come to pieces after a time. These will last 2 or 3 days comfortably under refrigeration in your refrigerator, kept in an airtight container. Right? So that's about as much as I need. I don't want it to go much longer. It's going to be harder and harder to work with it the more that it absorbs water. So you can see it's still got a little rigidity to it. So I'm going to lay out the wrapper onto the cutting board. Now I know it's difficult to see because it's basically translucent and clear once you get water on it. I'm doing ours plant-based, but you could also add like shrimp to this and have some protein to it. So it's really just a matter of choice. The first thing I want to do is lay down a piece of lettuce, and I'm going to put everything kind of in that center area of the wrap. Then I want to add a basil leaf or 2. just to give a little added flavor to it. Because remember, there's not really any sauce in it. We're going to use a dipping sauce with it. You could also use a peanut sauce. And to this, I also want to add a few rice noodles. Lay them out. Don't overdo it. Less is more. The more you get in here, the more trouble you're going to have wrapping it up. I'm going to lay a couple of cucumbers across the top, a little bit of avocado. Right? You can see I'm kind of building it in the center there. I'm going to add a little bit of the shredded carrot. Oh, this is going to give it a beautiful color and a nice little crunch from everything that's in here. And then finally, some of the shredded radish. I like the color contrast here. I love red and green. When you can put red and green together with any foods, whether you're cooking or baking, it always looks beautiful. So I'm a roll away from me kind of person. So I'm going to take the side of the wrap that's closest to me, and I'm going to hold it between my thumb and my pointer. I'm going to tuck with my other fingers. Now listen, I make it look really easy. Turn in the side left, the side right, and wrap all the way up. All right, so we have our summer roll wrap. Right. I'm going to show you one more. All right, so I have my second wrap in. I'm dripping a little bit of the water off. Don't worry, you will get water on your cutting board. It's just going to happen. But it's clean tap water, so it's nothing we need to be concerned about. I'm going to add again some of that lovely butter lettuce, sometimes called Boston Bib, depending on where you live. Add into that some rice noodles, some delicious basil, cucumber across, avocado. Again, you see me building it in that center area, keeping everything kind of on that little leaf, gives you kind of a guidelines. Some carrot. Now you can mix this up. If you say, well, I don't really care for avocado, that's fine. You don't have to use avocado. What's wonderful about recipes like this is that you can really customize it to your needs. And if you say, well, I am a meat eater, I don't want to just have a plant-based wrap, and you could put in here whatever kind you would like to have. All right, so again, I'm going to pull up on the side of the wrap closest to me between my thumb and my pointer, and I'm going to pull and tuck. Pull and tuck. And I'm going to go in left side and right side and roll, roll, roll. If you have ever rolled a burrito, it's the same exact format, same process, it's just different ingredients, and it's a gluten-free wrap. All right. Now I'm going to be using this platter to present. You can leave your summer rolls whole to present for people, or you could also cut them. So I like to cut a little bit on the bias. So sawing back and forth, get about halfway or 2/3 of the way through, and then press down and come through the rest of it. And you can present those wraps as well in a sliced fashion, so you get to see all of what's inside, and it makes a beautiful complement to the presentation. So I finished making a few more of the summer rolls, and I showed a way that you can present it here. I want to point out to you that this is an extremely inexpensive recipe to make. The rice wraps themselves run about $3 for a pack of 10. It's less than $3 to get a bottle of the sweet chili sauce, but you could also make your own sauces very frequently, as this is a Vietnamese dish. It's served with a peanut sauce, which you could probably make with ingredients that you have in your own pantry at home. And of course, produce and rice noodles are extremely inexpensive as well, and you saw how little I needed of everything to make quite a large platter. So I encourage you to give this one a try. Remember that it is gluten-free and plant-based, but it doesn't lack the flavor and the pizzazz of any other food you've ever had. I'm gonna dip into it right now. So good, so good. Thank you for joining me today.